2010. It would only have to be outstanding for approximately 30 or 40 days because property tax cash collections begin to roll into the county in the middle of February. Actually, in roughing the numbers, I think it was $25 million that we left enough money in the appropriation to pay interest on an additional grant of $25 million. This amendment is not a criticism of the budget or of the finance department. It simply recognizes facts that were not known at the time that the budget was drafted and submitted to this honorable body. And as such, we now know what the real interest, the budget anticipated an interest rate of something like 6%, because that's what was paid last year, which was unconscionably high, and it was because of the absolute chaos that existed in the financial markets in October and November of 2008. It's an appropriation that is not needed, and indeed there's no reason not to reflect that by reducing the appropriation and giving the taxpayers a break on their tax bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further discussion?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this issue. Certainly there is no greater issue of import than that of the taxes that property owners pay in this community. Certainly it's been an issue that's been near and dear to the hearts of people in this room, particularly on this side of the aisle, for as long as I can remember. And certainly is the issue that we've heard most about during this past campaign season. Disappointed that we seem to be suffering a fate here that we are often criticized for, Republicans as an administration in particular. We have had no time to consider this issue. This is an issue that I am seeing for the first time now. Every other issue that we have seen in this budget book, in this budget presentation, everybody in this room is an elected official on both sides of the aisle and had hours to ask questions of department heads, of administration officials, et cetera, both in person and in writing. And as we've heard over and over again from members on both sides of the aisle, Mr. President, the administration has been lauded for the responses that they've given to the various questions that have been submitted both orally and in writing. I am disappointed that this issue is coming before me, particularly for the first time, considering the complexity of the issue. We have account numbers here with numbers, account numbers that I am not familiar with, which I have not had sufficient time to examine the implications with the administration. Like everybody else in this room has had the opportunity to do with other issues that have presented themselves in this budget. I would love to vote in the affirmative tonight on this. I just don't know if it's responsible for me to do that. I've heard from two people that I respect, Mr. Haynes and Mr. Adair, on this issue. More questions need to be asked. As such, Mr. President, I think the only responsible thing to do at this point would be to table this motion for further consideration. So I move to table this amendment. Second.
Motion to table.
And a roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Point of order, Mr. President. Tabling an amendment to the budget is inappropriate. You can't table an amendment.
Point of order, Mr. President.
You can't table an amendment to an item without tabling the main
point of order
motion.
takes precedent, if I'm not mistaken.
Roll call vote, please.
Appeal the ruling of the chair or the president on the point of order. I presume you did rule that the
Right.
okay.
I didn't know I had a real appeal there going, but okay. On the motion to rule on the motion that I made, okay, we'll have a roll call vote.
Well, for clarification, there was a point of order, and the question is, if Mr. President, if you ruled on that point of order, then I'm appealing the ruling
Okay.
on that
The
point.
ruling is yes, you can table.
No, you can't.
Okay. So we have an appeal to the ruling that's been done in the past. All right, let's have a roll call vote.
Mr. President, is a appeal, can there be discussion with respect to the appealing?
Discussion.
Because it's pretty clear, Mr. President, that you can't table an amendment to the motion without tabling the underlying motion, which in this case is the budget. It's just parliamentarily. It's not, the motion to amend cannot have motions to postpone definitely or lay on the table applied to it alone. When the primary amendment or a primary and secondary amendment are pending, the main question can be committed, postponed, or laid on the table, and the amendments then undergo the same process of the main question. The motion to amend cannot be postponed indefinitely. And this is right from Robert's Rules of Order, and I don't see how your motion, your ruling can be upheld. It's contrary to parliamentary procedure.
Any further discussion?
Roll call vote, Mr. President.
Roll call vote.
A vote for clarification purposes, Mr. President, of yes upholds the ruling of the chair?
That's correct. Yes, holds it up, no, does not.
Mr. Quattro.
Yes.
Mr. Bronson.
No.
Mr. Adair.
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. No. Mr. Antelli.
No.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Mr. Beebe.
No.
Mr. Cassetti.
Yes.
Mr. Colby.
Yes.
Mr. Cruz.
No.
Mr. Daniele.
Yes.
Mrs. Straw. Yes. Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mr. Eckel.
No.
Mr. Esposito.
No.
Mr. Gamble.
No.
Mr. Kamina.
No.
Mr. Haney.
No.
Mr. Hannah. Mr. Hyder.
No.
Ms. Haley is absent, excused. Mr. Lee.
No.
Mr. Lightfoot.
No.
Mr. McCann.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
No.
Mr. Cucciarello.
Yes.
Mrs. Valerio. Mr. Yolovich.
Yes.
President Zaira.
Yes.
Upheld 15, 13.